Here we are in an overwhelming whirlwind of wires. I have put a good shift in today just to try and get as much done as possible, because I want to move to the next stage where it starts getting exciting, and that is insulating it all, boarding it, and then I can get onto the interior, which I have got some absolutely fantastic, unique ideas which I have never seen before, and I am excited to sort of show you all what my brain can come up with. So, what have I been up to? Well, if we start at the back of the van, I'll talk you through all the different sort of wires and just give you a bit of an idea of what is going on. Starting with this one in the back door. So it took a bit of feeding to get that into that position, but that is going to link with another wire into the other door, which is just there, and I'm going to have a fan in both doors, which is an extractor to draw air from the front through the windows, sucking it right through and out of the back. And I've not seen that done before, so I'm quite excited to sort of see if I can make that work. I have got wires here, so this is going to be a switch panel on the back, which is going to allow me to enter the van, and then once I stand up here, I'll just literally click on here and I'll have at least a light or two to put on. So I've got a feed to that with the wires. I've got two lights. Let's have a look. One is the toilet light, which is going to go in the back here, because we're going to have a toilet in that bottom section there. And also we have got a vanity light. That is going to be here. So I'm going to have some sort of mirror set maybe, just so I can do my makeup and all that. Looking at it, it looks like I am being dressing myself up as a woman, because I've got some very black nails. So moving on to this side, I have got three cables here, two of which are lighting wires again. So we've got a kitchen cob light, and this is the main central light. So I'm going to have one full light right down the middle there, and some nice sort of lighting plinth, which is just going to be a general, just a nice sort of glow, I would say. And then the kitchen light is going to go along this bit here, because I'm going to have a full kitchen there with a sink and a cooker. So that will just illuminate when I'm sort of chopping my carrots and chocolate or whatever. And then I'm also going to have this light here, which is a kitchen pendant light. So I'm going to have some sort of hanging pendant, which might seem a bit dodgy, because obviously in a moving vehicle it's going to be swinging about all over, but I've come up with an idea for it, and I just think it'd be kind of cool just to have this nice low level light just illuminating the kitchen worktop here when the rest of the lights are off. So as you can see, millions and millions of lights, and all this literally comes down to this point. So down here I'm going to have a switch panel, which is hopefully going to sit maybe against that. I might build some boxing or something. So as I come in that door there, it just means that I've got all the switches on hand, and obviously whilst exiting as well, I can just leave the door, turn everything off, and then shut it, and I'm gone out of here. So I think that's going to be the best place for the main switch panel. Now for that, I have got this cable here. So these two are 10mm cables, which is absolute overkill, because that's all going to be 12 volt. But I just thought, why not get it all in whilst I can, and then I've sort of future-proofed it for any sort of I don't know, add-ons or anything. There's going to be plenty of copper to take the current of electricity. So that has come all the way down through this, and it actually is going to end up in this corner, because my main electrics are going to be there, because the fuse board is there for the car, and the battery is under that as well. So I'm just going to keep it all in the same sort of place. I have also, let's show you down here, see if you can see. Oh look, there's a little bit of red. So that red there is this cable. So this is a 6mm cable, which again is absolute overkill, but that is going to feed a potential switch panel. So I'm going to have maybe some really nice sort of lights out of the front, maybe bonnet lights, maybe some sort of low level lights, or even some roof rack light. So I want to make sure that I can control it whilst driving, just to illuminate the road if it's one of those dark, miserable places that needs brightening up, so I'm not going to fall off the edge of a cliff. So I've brought that cable through there, and then that is just coiled up there, ready to go. I've got a fan. They're all labelled because I will sleep before I fit the second fix it all, and it only takes one sleep and you've forgotten everything in your brain. So this is why I am making sure that it's all labelled. This is bedroom light and USB, because there's going to be a bed here. So I just thought if there's some sort of backlight, it means that I can just have that on if I'm messing about at night, just need to read. read. I've never read a book. I'm not into that game. My brain's too fast for that, I would say. I'm going to save reading for when I'm dead. That's my plan, because I'll read a page of a book and I'll get to the end of it and I will literally have not taken any of it on board, because I'm just designing. My brain is absolutely elsewhere. It's like off, it's running through the woods, enjoying something else, designing something, thinking of details of things, and I honestly can't concentrate on it. So yeah, sod that. So that's it then. Oh, somebody loves me. It's not often this I get a phone call. It's Benny Boy. Now then, mate, how do? You alright? Sorry about that. I have literally got no friends, so the few that I do have, I'll always do anything for and give them my time. So where was I? 12 volt electrics. So pretty much the upper section is complete with the 12 volt. I might have another 1 or 2 cables to put in, possibly for some sort of roof rack lighting on the outside, like an awning light or something, but I'll think about that maybe tomorrow. The down section of this for 12 volt, I'm not worried about. I can do it at a later date, because I've got a fuse board that's going to be in that area, and that is under a big sort of bench and bed. It's going to step up, and I've got another bed section here, so I can run the cables all the way through here and just feed to any of this. And the same at this side. I've got a fuse board here-ish, and that is going to be one long unit, so if I need to run anything in that, that can be also complete. Right, I'm going to explain my van cinema setup a little bit better. So I have laid out some of the items that I'm actually going to be utilising to make this van bounce. Starting with this JBL 1000 soundbar, which is absolutely mega. And what comes with that is this, which is a subwoofer. And if I just show you the actual size of the thing under there, that is why we are going to be bouncing. It will literally shake this van to shreds. So I am looking forward to getting that installed. I've been using that at home, just linked up with my iPad, and yeah, it's just brilliant. Mega's the right word for it. Firstly, let's just take this top off, otherwise I'll slowly cook myself in this hot van. I need to get all that insulation finished off. So this is fairly weighty and definitely overkill for this small space, but as one of my life sayings is, go big or go home. So with this, I have definitely gone big. Now, I got this for an absolute bargain. I cannot tell you how lucky I was to get hold of this for the price I did, because basically they'd made a mistake on the Curry's website, and they had this reduced from 900 squids, or 2 camels, down to 499 squids, or 1 camel. And that was a bargain in itself, because obviously it's 400 quid off, but then they had an offer with it saying if you bought a TV, you would end up getting another £250 off it. So essentially, I bought a little cheap TV for 100 quid, which got me this for £250. That is it, 250 quid. And it's perfect for what I need. So, obviously it's got all HDMI inputs and everything you sort of need, and your power input and all that. But the reason I wanted this one was because it's got these speakers on the ends which just unclip. They're just on a magnet. So they are actually charging when they are linked up like that, and when they're off, they've got enough power to sort of, I don't know, watch quite a few hours worth of footage, giving you that sound. So for me, that is just brilliant, because it just means I've got rear speakers just to give me that full awesome surround sound. Let's show you exactly where I'm going to position it. So if you just sit on my headrest, stay there. So ideally, I would mount it in that section of the door, because that is just crying out for some speakers. But the problem with that is I wouldn't be able to connect a HDMI cable through the moving door. I could do the electric to it through one of those fancy spring connectors. It's like a hole and a pin that goes in and then connects. But HDMI would not be able to be done, I don't think. So instead, I'm going to mount it high up somewhere there, and I'm going to have it facing that way, just because if it was in the position that it's designed for, which is normally so you can bounce sound up off the roof, I just think it's going to dampen the sound there, as really it would probably dampen the sound in that, to be honest. So I think that, or just a slight angle, will be the perfect place for it. I've had a good play around with these at home, and I worked out that the sound is best when they are at lug height or just below. So I need to obviously position them perfectly in this van to get the most out of the sound. So from this point here through to about there, I've got a full bench. So I ideally will be sat in the middle, and I'll have a speaker either side. So I'll probably have one speaker somewhere there, and the other one in this corner somewhere there. They can actually be powered through a USB-C connector, so I also do need to put in a supply there and there, just to make sure that these things always have power. But as you can see, they just clip back on there, and when they are linked to that, they will be charging up. My worry was that when I was driving and they were connected, they'd fall off, but you can give them a real good shake and they do still stay connected, so I'm not actually worried about that anymore. Anyway, this is where the real magic happens. This is the next level of my system, and that is because I am going to utilize this. This is the DJI 1000 Mini, and I've chosen this for a very specific and particular detail in my van, and that is to be my external or my portable power source. And it just means that I will be able to carry this to that lovely bench overlooking the sea to be able to do my editing, or just power anything outside pretty much, just away from the van. And the best thing about it is that that tiny little box there contains a full kilowatt of power. I mean, that's just massive. There is nothing as small as that with a full kilowatt in. So I just think it is absolutely brilliant, especially when space is at a premium within a van. I honestly can't believe you can get 1 kilowatt of power in this. I mean, there you go. It is 1 handspan wide by 1 high, and then 1 and a couple of inches long. It also comes with this handle on the back, and because it's a single handle, it means I can just carry it in one hand and have my iPad and my beer in the other as I venture off to that bench overlooking the sea to do my editing. Now, one thing I do like about this is the fact that all the connections are on one face, so you're not sort of messing about sort of plugging things in different places. It's just all on this front. So let me just turn it on for you. Beeps to come on. We've got 100% power. Obviously it just shows you wattage input and output, as most of these power stations do, but this is pretty special because we've got this built-in cable, and this is a USB-C, and it's quite a robust looking cable, so I think it's going to take a bit of battering and obviously stand its time. But that just clicks back beautifully away. I mean, that's just perfect for when you're out and about and you just need that power, rather than carrying those extra cables. It's just inbuilt, and it is neat, very neat. That's what I like about it. So we have 2 AC sockets here, so obviously you can just click the AC on there, and that is why I wanted this in particular for what I'm going to explain in a minute. We've also got 2 USB ports here, and we've got a 100-watt charging USB-C here. I think this one's 100 watt as well, so a massive output with that, which will charge things obviously a lot faster. The DC here, input and output, is a let's have a look, an XT90 connector, and you can power it through that, but you can also discharge through it as well. So obviously if you've got something that can plug in, you could run pretty much a van off it, because an XT90 connector could link from that to a little fuse board, and then from the fuse board you could run all your lights. So pretty awesome is that, and 30 amps is plenty for most vans in that scenario. And we've also got the mains connecting charging port there, so that means that you could stick this in a backpack, carry it into your Airbnb or your hotel or a cafe, and steal someone else's power. And it's small enough to do that as well. You could definitely carry it in a backpack, so I'm quite impressed with that. We also have a light which has this absolutely pointless beep, because I already have a visual representation to know whether the light is on or off, and I only can assume that that is for blind people which is obviously rubbish, because why would a blind person need light? Anyway, the light itself is perfect because it just illuminates that area in front of the unit itself. So whilst you're messing about and trying to plug in your drone and your camera batteries and anything else that potentially you might be doing outside in the dark, it is just perfect for that. Now, the most common question that I get asked on my channel is, what drone do I use? And that is because my drone segments that I put into my videos are always pretty special, and I love editing. I'm just sort of highlighting the magic, the beauty that is out there, and just condensing it into this little sort of snippet that just allows you guys to appreciate the place, but also hopefully my drone handling skills. But it is a DJI drone, and because it has lasted for the last sort of 5 or 6 years and done me proud, I can just verify on the actual quality of the craftsmanship, the product itself, and the fact that the brand, being DJI, is just pretty damn awesome. So, although I've got to say I could do with a new drone, because mine doesn't track. It's the DJI Mini 2, and when I'm doing the van life thing and driving around, it would be kind of good to have a drone that actually did track my van. So anyway, we might have to sort one of those out at a later date. But moving on, we have got this charging cable here, and this is a car battery charge cable. And if I just get it out of the box here, this just allows me to connect this to the positive and negative of my battery, and it's got its own built-in fuse there. But through an XT90 connector, I can plug it in here, and that will charge up to 400 watts from my battery. So that is pretty awesome. And just the fact that this XT connector can be then transferred and connected to other things means I can charge quite a lot from my van. So potentially I'm going to get this wired up and just have it as an extra power source to charge stuff. So that's pretty awesome. The mains AC charger, that actually charges at 800 watts, so it's pretty fast charging whichever way you do it. So overall, I love it. I still can't believe that there is 1 kilowatt of power in that tiny little box. It is pretty damn awesome, isn't it? Anyway, if you are interested in this or pretty much any other product that I use whilst I'm out and about, there is always links in the description, so just go check those out. But now we need to get back to the most exciting reason why I've got this portable power station, and that is to take my cinema setup that's going to be here outside. And that's just going to be just amazing, because I'll be able to invite people over to pull up a chair, bring a bottle of wine, and then we can have cinema night. And that's just a really nice, pleasant thing to do on an evening for a bit of entertainment. So let's set it up and just sort of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I have set myself up a little cinema. starting with a central chair. We have got the 2 rear speakers sat on the wheel arches both sides, the subwoofer and the main soundbar. So all I need to do is plug those 2 into the power source, and they actually connect together via Bluetooth, and then also that will connect to my iPad via Bluetooth, and we can watch some Maverick. And the sound that comes off that film is just incredible. So let's take a seat. There we go, it has automatically connected. See if I can do this one-handed. So you've got to imagine I've got like a full projector screen set up, and we are watching it on something a bit more exciting than this tiny iPad, but you'll get the gist. Also, I've never set this up in the van before, so this is actually going to be quite exciting to see what the sound's like. Ready? That is incredible. Literally fills the whole space up. It is just gonna, that's just gonna be the most awesome cinema experience sat in here. And this is pretty much the distance where I'm sat here to there, where it will be across that. So that is gonna be just amazing. And obviously I can then pick all this up and just take it outside, which is what the whole point of the exercise is. Mega, just mega. So exciting. Anyway, let's carry on. I need to get this van finished so we can go experience it all properly. Just brilliant. Yeah. Dear. I make myself laugh. I'm making noise when I'm sitting down now, so that is just definitely showing my age. Although, to be fair, I am pushing 50, so fair enough, eh? Anyway, I have had a delivery of more cables, and this is where it starts to get exciting. Starting with some Arctic Blue triple core 2.5mm mains wire cable. So this will just allow me to have sort of 3 or 4 double sort of sockets to plug in my usual household appliances. And I'm also going to have an induction hob, an air fryer, what else, and I might also have a water heater as well, which will just allow me to have a warm shower out of the back somewhere. So I do need to have some pretty heavy duty, decent quality cable for the purpose of all that. I have got a 5-meter HDMI cable and another 5-meter HDMI cable. Now I only really need one of those, but I've got the second one as a backup, because if the first one fails, I'll be pretty much screwed. HDMI time. My time for my cinema. This is proper exciting for me. So I'm going to get these 2 cables out, which I am hoping I have ordered 2 very high quality, high speed cables, which will do the best possible job for my cinema setup. I'm gonna tape them together, I think, because the size of the connector there won't actually go through a 25mm piece of ducting. So if I tape them together, I'll just have to drop them down and make sure that they're in a safe sort of position that's not going to sort of rub. I did go for a braided cable on both anyway, so they are going to be fairly robust. But let's see about getting these taped up and then in position. So I've actually just got some plain electrician's tape here. So let's have a think. I need a bit of a wangy end to plug in. So if I just drop it back a little bit, I'm just gonna keep them nice and tight together, just so they are easier to maneuver in the crevices, the caverns of this van. It's all taped together, just so I'm only wrestling one snake, and I need to drop it from here down this pillar to the floor. So I'm going to follow the ducting that I've already got down there, because that's set behind a few little clips really, which hold it away from the seat belt. We don't want to be disturbing that, do we? Just going to get some mains cable out and start chucking some of these wires in. Now this is going to work a bit different to a house, because normally you do like a ring main, which is fairly straightforward to do, whereas in here I'm going to do a radial. But mainly I need to come from down here where the main consumer unit is going to be for the inverter and everything like that. So we'll work it out as we're going. I'm also hoping that my 30-metre reel of this Arctic Blue is long enough to do everything I need to do in the van. If not, it means I'm going to have to buy some more, and it's pretty damn expensive, this stuff. So I need to get from there up here, over here, and down into that side, so I can feed that, and then the other one can come under all these units, I think, and hopefully I can feed both sides then and spur off it as and where I need. Firstly, I'm going to feed this up through this pillar. I do know it's possible because I've already fit a 25mm conduit through it, and there are 2 or 3 cables in here already. I don't want to add to that conduit with this because it will reduce the amount of heat dissipation and potentially just be a warm spot, which reduces the efficiency of the cable, and potentially it can heat up too much and cause a fire. So I'm going to do it on its own. I'm just going to try it to start with, see if I can get it through without actually manipulating it too much. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I was just trying my luck there. So we're going to have to probably use some wire system and try and get this up first, and then I'll pull it through. Well, that was easy enough. I just need to now attach to this end. If I can just dig it out of here. There we go. Let's pop you down there. I'm gonna just tape that on nice and solid with a bit of masking tape so it's easy to pull off at the other side. Give it a good squidge, make sure it's got a good connection. And now, let's see if I don't drop it, if we can pull this through. It's quite hard doing this one-handed. There we go. Just like that. I love it when a plan comes together. Yeah, team. From here, I need to follow the line that I've already used for a couple of wires. And because there's a couple of sharp bits of metal that I can feel of the bodywork, I'm going to run it in some 25mm conduit right the way through. So, I want to measure that out now, just so I know exactly where to cut this. And then if I can find some scissoring things. I'll feed this through to start with, stick it together at the end, and then it'll just be a lot easier getting them both through together rather than trying to feed the blue cable through the black conduit. See, straight away, even with just a bend like that, it's hard to actually get through. I'm just going to tape these two together just so they don't become separated, which I already seem to have done. Nothing fancy, but it's just worth trying to make more of a bullet end on it so it feeds through a little bit easier rather than snagging on everything going. Somewhat like that. Straight away that's a little awkward. It's going to take a bit of feeding, and that's because I've already got another 25mm conduit going through it, and there is also a 12mm one as well, so that all is getting a little bit tight. I made it through, and that was tough, but luckily I'm a very patient man, and you do not get perfection without patience. And now the fact that that is in a conduit in an area where I will never be able to get to at a later date, I just feel that it is protected and safer for all my future travels. So question is, can I pull it through? Which I can. As you can see, it's pulling up there, and I just need enough really to get me down to this point, which means I can then feed that side of the van. Sorted. I'm fitting my final 3 lighting wires, and that will bring it to a grand total of 9 lights in this small space, which does seem a little excessive, but I guarantee it is going to look absolutely amazing in here. And it means, I suppose, I don't need to step outside to get a suntan because I've built myself my own little tanning booth. Yeah, won't be that long. I probably won't look like an Englishman anymore. Anyway, I'm going to fit it. A little bit awkward now because obviously I've got quite a few cables in. If I just show you over here, it does look like I've spilt a bowl of spaghetti, but that is quite a congested area, so I can't really bring any more cables down through here. So from this point, I'm actually going to come up through that hole there, and I have cut a hole there and then just sealed around the edge because that links up with a hole that's just sort of down the back. So from there, once I'm up here, I can then get it into this void across here, and basically I've got 3 lights going over here somewhere. So that is the plan. So I've got myself some 25mm ducting and my 3 cables tied together. So I'm going to just feed them all through now, just so it's a little easier to deal with rather than trying to get them through once it's in situ. Try to keep the 3 cables all in line, because if one goes sort of twisted around another one, it just ends up snagging. So it's quite important, that, I'd say. We are through, so I'm going to pull this through enough just to have a bit of tail at this end. You can hear it snagging on the metal, and that is because it's fairly sort of sharp, hence why I'm putting in some ducting just to protect the cables. It won't take long to wear through a plastic cable or a rubberized cable. So there we are, my van's portable power and my absolutely awesome cinema. I cannot wait to get that fully installed and fired up, because that will be the end of the van build. So a very special moment. It's also nice to show you guys some of the wiring, just so you get an idea of what I'm planning. And this light feed in particular is going to be something special. The light I've got for there is absolutely amazing, so something to look forward to. The next jobs then are for me to fit a window in that section there, and something pretty scary because I'm going to put a roof light in here, but me being the Maverick, I've designed it myself and it is something that is completely new. Hopefully it is going to be a bit of a mind-blowing one because I'm going to open all this space up, which means the scary thing is taking this beam out. So anyway, it's going to be awesome, so keep logged in and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.